I'd like to call the Board of Trustees meeting to order on Tuesday, July 21st, approximately 6:10 p.m. Have a roll call, please.
Lino,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Duffy is absent. Solomon,
Here.
Enquist,
Here.
Sawchuk,
Here.
and Krog is absent.
Yep.
But they're excused.
They're
right?
excused, absent but excused.
Okay.
Approval of the minutes as published.
So moved. Second.
These will be the minutes of Tuesday, June 16th. Any additions, deletions, corrections, grammatical remarks, errors?
Look good to me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Comments and correspondence, to be aware of?
You do have one item of correspondence in your packets. It's thank you from the family of Janice Allsberger for our support to the Door County Humane Society. Also had a visit from a citizen today who asked me to relay to this and all appropriate committees that Bluffside Drive was last repaved in 1961, and she would very much like to see it attenuated too in this funding cycle.
Comments. Does anybody in the audience care to make a comment? Now would be the time to speak.
Yes. Janelle, you know who I am. I've given up thinking that you might enforce the 10 o'clock closing of the parks. I'm used to waking up at 2 in the morning to people out in the park, jumping off the swimming pier and so on. But with the new beach, there are power boats that are coming right into the beach when there are swimmers there. I'm assuming that when you get up the buoys for the swimming area, that maybe it will keep the power boats out. But right now, they're coming up right on the beach. There are also gaps in the groin, which supposedly you were going to barricade to foot traffic. There are large enough gaps in there that I've seen boys, probably 9, 10, 11 years old, disappear down those gaps. And then eventually their heads will pop up again. But there's also swimming off the end of that. There were 10 people out there on the end the other day swimming. And lastly, I have gone up to people in the park saying, it is posted, no dogs in the park. You know what the response is? Zeke gave me his blessing. Zeke told me I could do it. Now, I'm not saying that Mr. Jackson has told them this, but that's the attitude that's being shown. And I think something needs to be done about that.
Okay. Anybody else? Denise?
Denise Berto, 2285 Maple Drive. I talked to Dave earlier, but just to let the rest of the board know that I was looking on the new website tonight for an agenda and of tonight's meeting, and it was nowhere to be found. I called the office, talked to Martha. She gave me a totally different place to look. She had uploaded it on that place, so I was able to see it. So I don't know if anybody else has been having this issue, but I could not find an agenda.
There's actually a button right on the front page that says agendas and.
That's the one I clicked on, and it gave me the village board.
Mm-hmm.
So that link isn't working.
Your names.
Yep, your names.
Okay, because it works on our end.
I
So
found
we'll
one
get
today,
things.
Denise, that for whatever reason, village clerk's office is now referring over to the I want to tab. That's somehow spontaneously changed. It was all set up correctly. So I'll send an email off to have that addressed.
So we'll check into it and get it fixed.
Yes, sir.
And then my second comment is the sign that's on the corner of Country Walk Drive and 57 stating that all the businesses on the road, 57 that's closed, they still have access and the road is open to those businesses. I think somebody should sit at Country Walk and try to make a left-hand turn, because I believe that billboard is too close to the road, and you have to pull out so far into the lane of traffic to see past the sign if any vehicles are coming the opposite way.
Okay.
Where is that again?
That's the blue one?
It's the blue one,
Okay.
Country Walk and 57.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. We do have a closed session on the agenda. We're moving that to the end of the agenda, so we're gonna go through everything else on the agenda first.
I forgot to mention that.
And just so you know, sometimes we have it early in the evening, early in the session, because we have to bring people in from distances. They're gonna testify, provide information, they come from long distances, so we have it early on. And that's often the reason why we'll have a closed session early in the agenda.
Mr. President, if I could.
Sure.
Ms. Berto, I just was able to access it through my cell phone, through that button that's on the very front page. So I don't know if it's just a discontinued link on your end or not, but it takes me right to it. Okay.
We'll check.
Yep.
But it isn't something that's identified, I guess that's, agenda. Whatever
It's
your button is.
on the very
I
front
tried
page, it's
to-
on the button that says agendas and minutes. On the
I
very
tried that
front
one
page of it.
too.
Okay.
Okay, we'll look into it,
Yes, sir.
other than on a telephone here, I mean.
Yes, sir.
It's not-
Consider a motion to discuss and act on a recommendation of the Parks Committee and work of the Marketing Committee and adopt operating agreement between the village and SBAA. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement between the village and SBA.
I'll second it.
Any comments, discussion? It's been worked on back and forth for a long period of time. SBA has approved it, Parks approved it, Marketing approved it.
It's version 12.
Version 12. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. I'm good.
Opposed? Carried. Item number 5, consider a motion to discuss and act on a recommendation of the Parks Committee and the work of the Marketing Committee and adopt an operating agreement for alcohol sales at the Midwest Sunsplash Festival, authorizing the issuance of a beer and wine, i.e. picnic license to SBAA for August 7th and 8th, 2015.
So I guess I'll take this bit by bit. We included the motion on the picnic license. SBAA has not been in to receive a picnic license this year for any alcohol sales. Just to make sure they have one for this event, according to our village clerk when I asked. The other item is the alcohol sales agreement. This is, as I understand it, run through SBAA. Effectively, the way this works is repayment of the village's outlay of $15,000 on a proportional basis, less SBA's operational costs for actually running the event, which would include items like labor, I would assume at a reasonable rate. We don't have that defined in here, and cost of alcohol. As a part of this and not in the agreement, the village has worked on sponsorship with a number of different entities, and those sponsorships have resulted in some exclusivity agreements over who provides the alcohol. We should, or my staff recommendation would be that you approve this conditional on insertion of verbiage dictating who those are. Right now, that is Flanagan Distributing for beer, also have an agreement with Door County Brewing through Flanagan, Island Orchard Cider for cider. Wine is yet to be determined. So you could hand it to SBA and say, go find the wine vendor on your own, or retain the ability to sell it. Mr. Polachek, do you have any recommendation on that?
Can you repeat it?
Wine vendors for alcohol sales at Sunsplash,
Having SBA find their own, or the village?
internally, yes.
Either way, it can be done.
Are you still working on it? Are you still
Yes.
working on getting a
Until I'm
wine?
told not to, yes.
Okay. So you're looking for a motion?
So conditionally approved it based on insertion of exclusivity language with our sponsors.
Okay. With a wine sponsor yet to be determined.
Yes, sir.
Can we make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anyone who
To,
I'll second the motion.
the operating agreement for alcohol sales contingent on the
And it was just discussed at the SBA meeting prior to this one, and, yeah. They weren't sure if there'd be wine or not, but all the other ones were fine. So,
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, can you just, so I'm sure I've got that right. Okay, so if the village board approves the operating agreement for alcohol sales at Midwest Sunsplash, which was reviewed at this meeting as presented, and then what?
Read that back one more time.
Okay.
with the
That
sponsor.
the village board approves the operating agreement for alcohol sales at Midwest Sunsplash, which was reviewed at this meeting as presented, and
On the condition that,
Exclusive
Including the exclusive
vendors.
vendors.
okay, on the condition that what?
exclusivity agreements through sponsorship of the village are accommodated.
Agreements, village sponsorships are accommodated, and then do you want anything, do you want to do a motion about the picnic license?
That was in the,
And that a
That's a
picnic
process.
license is approved.
Okay.
Let's roll it in.
Village
You
clerk
to make that SBA's annual picnic license is hereby approved. That sounds like a really good idea. Yeah. Janelle, did you get that?
yeah.
What?
That SBA's annual picnic license is approved and the fee is hereby waived.
If everybody's in agreement with that?
That's what you guys have done every year up until now.
Right, right. Just agreeing to it.
Application is approved, and all fees, all applicable fees are waived. Okay. Okay, now you want me to read it back? Okay, a motion was made by Baker, seconded by who?
Shane.
Shane, okay. That the village board approves the operating agreement for alcohol sales at Midwest Sunsplash, which was reviewed at this meeting, on the condition that exclusivity agreements through village sponsorships are accommodated. Further, the SBA's annual picnic license application is approved and all applicable fees are waived. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Item 6, consider a motion to discuss and confirm
Did we
committee
vote on
appointments.
that?
We did.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't think we did it all in favor.
Didn't we? We talked about it, we didn't vote?
Call on.
No, because he just finished reading it, yeah.
Yeah, there was no vote.
That's
No.
what we voted on, it came back, was there a vote on that?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
I interrupted, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry, I thought we voted. No, we were clarifying. All right. All in favor of the
Aye.
amended
Aye.
motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to discuss.
President Lino,
Yes, Denise?
as a member of SBA, may I ask a question pertaining to your motion?
Sure.
Is that agreement that was presented going to come to us?
It's the last one you guys looked at.
No, that was the
No, the
operating
Sunsplash.
agreement, I'm talking about
The
the liquor.
Sunsplash.
Then
Isn't that what you just said, Dave?
I said we discussed it, yeah, I mean, we don't have
Your
your
staff are
operating
the ones that
agreements.
offer it.
I'm not talking about the operating agreement.
You're talking the alcohol
I'm
agreement.
talking
Yeah.
about the alcohol
It's my
agreement.
understanding you guys have reviewed that document that was sent over to me as approved by you guys.
Hmm? Nora?
I don't think I saw any document. We just
I've never
discussed.
seen a document.
Okay, you guys should have a conversation with your staff about reviewing that document.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
yeah, because we talked
Somebody
about.
get me or get Nora a copy and she will get the board a copy. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Yeah, because we talked about the process and everything, but we didn't talk about any document specifically.
So we have a document that's been completed that somebody else hasn't seen.
Right. Evidently. Like most of us haven't seen.
That your staff wrote.
Yes, we will get you a copy of it.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Well, they should have a copy, we just haven't seen it.
There are no appointments to consider. Reporting county activities from County Supervisor Dave Lino. Really no change since the June one. We can just, county continues to work on the CRP. The new administrator is not taking his position till August 3rd, which is what I had said the last time. So the committees are just working on, in the background, budget stuff and CIP. So the county board meeting, the CIP is up for approval next week. Any questions on county issues? Item 8, review of the financial statements and consideration of a motion to approve the monthly bills, starting on page 25 of the Zoom. Is John or Pat calling in?
So I'm assuming the, page 25, Action Electric, that was the difficulties we had with the bowl? Why that?
Very first item,
20, yes.
the $20,456.
That would appear that way, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
And you all approved payment on all those that had
Yep.
issues. Authorized is the word I should use.
A little bit further down is Bay Lake Bank, the Garrett project loan.
Something we could,
I was gonna ask about that.
we should talk about that in closed session.
But it's here on the page and open. What is it?
Under the terms of our development agreement with Mr. Garrett, the village was required to have in possession funds for him to subsequently borrow through the development agreement. We upheld our end of the obligation.
Okay. What was the beach staking?
Was
Is that the survey from Bowdoin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on page 26? 27? What is, oh, paper check, what is the paper check update? It's on page 28 of the Zoom. EFTPS, online, 941 payments.
Yeah.
Print paper check, the update general ledger.
Yep, got it. Page 29. $30. That's a lot of bills this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
31.
Back to 30,
Page 30 on the Zoom.
on the Zoom, Nicole, are we paying her?
She's on contract.
It's
Okay.
on- Where's it under?
Oh,
I got
Account
it.
411
Nicole
sewage.
Falk.
Contracted services, okay.
So she's under contract?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
she's not an employee, she's contracted.
May I ask?
this is like every week? She's
Ex-
under, okay.
Go ahead, Nora.
It says she's under contract every week at 9:25?
That sounds correct. She's full-time and then that drops off after the season.
And that's the weekly.
Weekly.
What page?
Page 33 on the Zoom. Marina summer crew uniforms. How many employees do you have? Because I can outfit 33 people for about the same price.
I don't know how many were procured without looking at the invoice.
What's that?
I don't know how many were procured without looking at the invoice.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because maybe we need to shop around for, because, like I said, I can outfit 30 people for this price, and I give them 2 shirts, and, I mean, so
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I know they're not as high quality as those, but it's a lot.
Okay.
Just above that, Premier Concrete, Sister Bay Beach expansion. What's in the $166,000?
All those rocks,
So we didn't have enough rocks. We could buy some more rocks.
all those rocks on the breakwater.
Nothing to do with concrete.
There's a supplier. You had Armor Stone and, of course, enforced on it. I would like to address item 61981 on page 33, based on a comment from the crowd earlier. The village has
Wait, wait, wait.
procured.
Where is it?
Account
Page 33.
61981.
The buoys?
The buoys.
The swim area buoys, okay.
The village submitted paperwork to DNR to have a buoy permit back in May. DNR then had an internal dialogue over a check that we paid them with, unsure between their own staff about whether or not they were supposed to charge us $1,200 or $1,203. They copied us on the dialogue back and forth. I finally told them to charge us the $1,203 and get us our permit. Subsequent to that, they sent us back a message, I don't know, maybe 20 days later, that said, we need you to plot GPS coordinates, not just approximate locations for where the buoys are going to be located. We turned that around inside of 48 hours, sent it back to DNR. DNR has still not issued our permit. We will not place them in the water until DNR has issued the permit.
Okay.
We don't want to be fined by DNR for,
Placing buoys in the wrong place.
So if you have GPS coordinates to put a swim buoy line out there.
it was not specified on the instructions, sir, and our engineers handled the application for the permit. They'd not ever seen it.
Anything on 34?
You will notice a number of items there that are TUI Productions, that is Sunsplash.
35? Okay, utilities starts on what, 36?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And nothing in there.
A motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion, we pay the monthly bills of $666,228.88.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried. Item number 9, report by the village administrator on village activities and projects.
Okay.
Page- Starting on page 41.
Yes, sir. So I'll take these sort of item by item. One is line barrier work. That has now all been completed with the exception of 3 poles that need to be relocated on what is commonly referred to as the old school property, where they have to restring some overhead, essentially reconfiguring that. I do not have, the village is not in possession of all bills, the largest one being the work done by WPS, which will cover engineering for all of the different telecoms that were on those poles. Anticipate by the time it's all said and done, we are likely to be $100,000 beyond the original estimate. If you all remember, they told us it would be somewhere between $900,000 and $1.1 million. Looks like it's going to trend closer to $1.1 million after it's all said and done. We were shooting for the million. And that's kind of how we funded things. The sledding hill continues to make headway. Pat Hawkers had to remove another 1,000 yards of material from the beach in order to make way for the sidewalk. That'll get relocated up there. Parks crews have been working to square away a couple of the issues at the end of the hill. There will be a stop hill placed on it when it's all said and done. Question?
I just have a comment.
Okay, yes, sir.
I'll try not to be snide about it.
Yes, sir.
I hope that somebody who has sledding experience goes up and looks at that and determines this is what it'd be like if I went down on the sled.
We had some comments back, and obviously I don't have a whole ton of sledding experience, but Mr. Mann happens to have quite a bit.
Okay, good.
The grade that you see there, our recommendation is that there be a crown placed on the north side of that hill so that somebody coming down it will end up in a natural gully as opposed to sledding over and then out on the bottom corner into a tree. Be safe. So
I mean, I
yes,
know it's a work in progress, but
yes, sir.
when you look at it, sometimes it doesn't make sense.
For the beach project, all in, it looked as if we were gonna have about $165,000 cost underrun on the project. Parks Committee met, decided to reallocate some of those funds for the new sidewalk that's being installed. That'll come in at approximately $105,000. Still leaves you a good bit ahead on the project. However, we still have outstanding DNR issues with the project. We do not have a finding yet from them on what that will be from a monetary standpoint. And we still have cleanup issues on the project itself. So this is just sort of an update of where we are to right now. Under advisement of Mr. Mann, we're installing conduit along the entire length of that sidewalk so that at a later date, if the Parks Committee decides that they want to install lighting, some kind of a curb lighting or pole lighting, whatever that would be there along the project, we'll have the ability to do that without going in and disturbing the landscaping. Sunsplash, still scheduled for the 7th and 8th. The gym grant that we received is a reimbursable grant, $25,500. You'll notice in the payables, you'll see quite a few items running through there. We have until the end of September to submit reimbursement to the Wisconsin Department of Tourism for reimbursement on those items. You will see a van driving around Green Bay and Door County that is wrapped with the Sunsplash banner. Went back to the Department of Tourism, asked them to do that. We figured that was something working for us 24/7. So the promoter goes out and does that. Niagara Ridge, those are the apartments that are being constructed on top of the old ball field. That continues to make headway.
Are they on schedule or behind schedule to your knowledge?
Those are the best guys that I've ever seen work, ever.
Really?
They come in and do exactly what they plan to do. I'm unaware of any delay of everything. Looks to be right on schedule, just like when they came through the permitting process. Stony Ridge, a couple of outstanding issues, and we'll discuss it some more in closed session. Mr. Garrett has not met the deadlines agreed to in the development agreement. Engineering work has been completed on that by Robert E. Lee and Associates. He's on the hook for those monies outside of us. We reduced our funding to have him take care of that separately. Part of that was in the event that something like this occurred. I emailed him last on 7/14 to ask him, what the situation was with that. I've gotten no response to date. Did have to serve a cease and desist order along with the state building inspector on one of the condos Mr. Garrett's in possession of. The condo was sold without an occupancy permit or without a final letter of inspection from the state. And to protect the village, we needed to issue that order.
So what does that mean?
It means that the occupant is on notice that they're not to occupy that structure. We have not gone through an eviction process yet on advice from council.
Roger Strike came in today.
Yeah.
He said everything is back on track up there.
Okay, good. We, on personnel matters, we'll begin to search again for a finance director. Ms. Newman, of course, retired. Right now, those duties are spread out between existing staff. We wanted to get a fresh start on the search. So we'll get those advertisements out by the end of July. We have one Parks Department employee who will be on medical leave for 3 to 4 months due to a work-related injury. Had to have surgery on that, and Mr. Joe Balderoto has also let us know that he's coming back to the ice rink this coming season. We're excited to have Joe return to us. Does a great job up there.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you miss under Niagara Ridge, the next one?
Oh, Harborview. Sorry. Preliminary plans went before Plan Commission. We took a look at them, sent some recommendations back to the developer and the designer of, Harborview. On that project, I just today got an updated copy of those revisions. There's still one more round yet that needs to be done, but hopefully we'll get them before Plan Commission next week.
Can you refresh me on where Harborview is?
Old school. So Plan Commission will take a look at it.
Which development are you talking about?
The old school. Remember last go around there were 7 lots there. He's cut it back. It looks a lot different.
Sure.
With the marina, there's some updating in the accounting that needs to take place. Part of that is software. Part of that is staff and getting things reported on a timely fashion as they need to. Our auditors identified some issues there last year, namely with cash handling. Not the end of the world, they just want to see us do a better job with it. So we've got some procedures in place to make sure that occurs. Sales look to be up substantially across the board. Very pleased with that. Every category that I look at. Had an opportunity to visit the marina guest events. I know we had 17 transients to visit us at this last one because we held that event. I went around to the different tables of people there and, asked about their stay with us. They indicated that, look, we came here specifically because you're having this event. Didn't think I would encounter that. I'd hoped that I'd encounter that, but just didn't think I would. So really pleased that was the outcome. The last advertising piece for the marina is scheduled to go out at the end of July. As for marketing, movies in the park, we're, I guess bluntly, still learning what programming is really good and what programming is really bad there. Some movies that I would think would have relatively high attendance don't, and some movies that I would think would have mediocre attendance have really great attendance. A lot of that seems to be driven by the weather, and I hate that I'm even using that excuse, but I've been there for every one of them. And there are nights that it gets down into the 50s, and we see people getting up, 3/4 of the way through the movie after the wind kicks up off the lake, and they head home. So Willy Wonka has so far been our most successful one. Really wish we had a couple of cases of Wonka bars around to sell for that one. If we do it next year, we'll be sure to do that. I can tell you that, impact to businesses. I know Miss Berto's gas station sent me into a diabetic fit that night. I think I spent $20 or $30 in there on candy bars. Night of the Living Dead, we counted 56. Crybaby so far has had the lowest attendance. There were 28 there. Johnny Depp has a pretty huge cult following, but didn't seem to turn out for the film. It was also really cold that night. We will continue to work on Marina Fest and the ice rink as we go forward, as well as complete Sunsplash and what's taking place there. The website is up. As Ms. Berto pointed out earlier, there are still some kinks with that. The biggest issue we have is that our internal server, which should be replaced in the next couple of years, houses our old website. And so if you go to the new web address, the internet, as I understand it from those people who understand technology, is somewhat confused about which direction it's supposed to go. Is it supposed to go to our server, or is it supposed to go to the external server? So the county came up, fidgeted with some things. It now definitely will take you to the external server, which houses the new website. The issue is it's a little bit slow. So they're working to resolve the speed of that. There is a newsletter that's been authored. I sent it out by email. You guys will take them and pass them around. We are intent on sending this out under existing funding sources for promoting Marina Fest and Sunsplash. I think it would be a good idea if we looked at doing this on a regular basis, given the commentary we received over recent months about our ability to communicate with various stakeholder groups and citizens in the community. Attached to this, I've also developed a survey to go out to the community to seek input on what they think priorities are. I'll share that with the administrative committee for input.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. The survey's attached there if you guys want to take a look at it. If somebody has any.
Any questions or comments?
Is this the official one that went out? Where it says in the black here, to catch the reader's attention, put an interesting sentence here?
We'll fix that. Hasn't gone out yet.
Okay.
Apparently I got saved wrong. Thank you for
Well, it
catching
caught your
that.
attention, didn't it?
Yeah. Good, but what interesting sentence.
Okay. By the way, this went through like 6 different editors, and you're the first person to catch that.
Okay.
So,
Good job.
Discussion regarding matters to be placed on the future agenda referred to committee, official, or employees. So based on our public comment tonight, we should refer to probably parks, the powerboat issue, that probably ties in with the buoy issue, and what we're gonna do with that pier, the groin.
the groin will be completed through I'll be quiet.
Okay, we'll still put it on the agenda, make sure we get it.
Yes, sir.
It's done.
Anything else? You're looking at the website piece?
Yes, sir. We got another one. And the blue open sign, I'm sorry, the blue, open access sign.
57.
We'll refer over to the sheriff's department, those that are in the park, after 10. We do have a bit of a conflict in that movies in the park are running, by our own dictate until, midnight. And Parks Committee will have authority over that. They approved the listing back when we did this, as did the marketing committee. The other one would be the standard movies in the park and how late those run at night.
Okay, well, we can put it on the agenda to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, committee reports. Administrative has not met, is in discussion. Bay Shore Oversight has not met. It's now been turned over to, basically, Bay Shore Oversight won't be meeting now that the project has started. And the Department of Transportation monthly meetings have kind of taken that particular committee over, just, or are in place of that committee.
We'll update everyone who is here. At this morning's meeting with DOT, a determination was made based on attendance. They would discontinue those until they got to the next phase of the project. Let me give you that date. They will pick that back up September the 1st at 9.
Is that Tuesday again?
Yes, ma'am. And that actually falls in the normal meeting schedule. That's,
Okay. I would have been there today, but we had a library meeting, so. Okay.
Coastal Byways.
We met Thursday, worked on a final letter to U.S. legislative reps about considering the reinstatement of the National Scenic Byway Program funding, which we are going to attempt to go for. Also working with Door County Planning and Zoning on some of the signs along the roads. They are illegal under the Scenic Byway Program. Some of the things that have popped up since we became a byway.
Scott, there's
What?
a Supreme Court case, and it's rare that the Supreme Court ever weighs in on zoning issues. I can forward that information on to you, but as you have that conversation, it's probably something that should weigh in, because they have to grant the same time parameters and dimension parameters based on ideological stance. So if the county has any differentiation in its ordinances, it'd be an opportunity to straighten those out.
Okay, thank you.
And where are we with, are we still waiting until after construction?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. If you have any ideas where you'd like to put it, let me know.
Actually, if you look at that sign, and I'd heard a lot about this, that we would locate it somewhere after construction. On the sign, there's actually a map, and on the map, it shows you where it's located.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so if you put it,
We did pick a site.
you put it somewhere other than that, it's,
You go down and make an X on it.
that's it. No, you're not here anymore.
DCECD.
Met on Monday, the 13th, had a guest speaker, Wisconsin Unemployment Program changes. They went over that. We elected 2 ex officios, the new Door County County Administrator, and Josh Van Lieshout, who is taking the Sturgeon Bay Administrator's job. That is pretty much it.
Economic Development. Has not
We'll
met.
meet in October.
Finance.
Has not
We'll
met.
meet tomorrow.
Meet tomorrow. Fire.
Continues to meet.
We are meeting Monday, Fire Board.
Okay. Historical Society.
They had the Wizard of Oz movie, I guess 30-some people in the bar note on the grounds there.
And
Viewed the film.
do they use that screen, or do they use it?
They used the screen, it had to tilt a little bit to fit, but yeah, they used the screen and stuff. They started the farm markets on Saturday, although last week was probably a rain out. And, yeah, they're kind of in full swing. Their projects.
Library building.
We met this morning. The minutes in the report were from last month. Lou Cavadas came, he is the Liberty Grove representative. I'm just gonna throw this out here. Lou and Margot were looking for a space that maybe the village had or something they could use to store books and sort books. Because the shack or the shed that they're using at the library is not acceptable, so. Lou was also gonna look into spaces for that. And they're excited that the Marina Fest book sale will be in the Village Hall this year. We had a little discussion about the parking lot that would be possibly joining the garden at the library, and Lou was concerned about the town's fiscal responsibility for
There's
that.
one.
Okay.
That's all village.
He brought up the old story about the water treatment plant and the percentages and, okay?
Just- You can assuredly
Okay.
go back to the committee and explain that it is all a village project and DOT wrote a
But,
check to
yeah, but, you know, they just wanted to also just, you know, we wanted to just make sure it looks good and works good and, you know, it all.
Yep.
So I said, we'll look at the plans. That's it. The next meeting is the 18th.
Marina and Marina Fest.
I can speak about Marina Fest. Marina Fest is going very well. We're on track with everything. It seems like we'll have a very productive 2 days. We are going into Sunday this year, and we will be doing fireworks 2 nights, and we have a very good reception so far to the second day for the nonprofits in the village, so, or I guess in the county. But outside of that, everything else is going on. We're doing final planning. We should be getting together within a week or so to do placements. And then we'll start sending out advertisements here probably within about 3 weeks.
Sharon?
Is it appropriate to ask a Marina question at this
No.
point?
No.
Okay.
Nobody from Marina is here.
Pardon?
The Marina is not here. That's why we're not having,
Marina rep?
right.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought Shane was one.
No, he's
No.
Marina Fest.
just the festival.
Okay.
Parks. Minutes are in the package.
We built a sidewalk.
Yes, we built a sidewalk.
Was the paper done?
No,
No.
all the papers are gone. The parking lot was
They pulled them
reopened.
out.
I saw that today. And they're gonna start working on,
They already have. They've laid down the
Yeah.
gravel course on the far end by the swim pier today. I went
Cool.
down and checked it out.
Yep.
So we're supposed to start laying pavers tomorrow.
Good.
Good.
Just because everybody asks, right, when is it done? August 6th is the deadline the contractors are on for Sunsplash. And they're working diligently towards that.
as long as we're talking about that, is there, we had talked about barking
Yes,
everything. Is that going to be accomplished by that period of time?
still supposed to happen by that time.
Personnel.
Wood chips. I think wood chips, not barking. Yeah.
Dogs, they're not none barking.
Yeah, we're talking about the dogs, so.
Sorry. How about mulching?
There we go.
It'll be some tree material.
Personnel.
Has not met. Do need to schedule a meeting.
That's Patrick, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Plan Commission. Minutes are in the package.
Talk about the public hearing coming up.
Good.
So the Plan Commission will consider this upcoming meeting a public hearing to allow quarries as a conditional use in the B1 zoning designation. I've had a visit from several citizens on the quarry and what's taking place in the quarry. On the one hand, the village has the legal obligation to respect property rights, not just for one, but for all. as well as due process. So the village went to court with the operator of the quarry some years ago. I think most citizens are under the assumption that it was somehow resolved because nothing has come up about it since then. That's what people are telling me as they come in to talk to me. We thought this was done. It is not done. It had to go through a number of steps in the court system, and then following that, the court ordered that we attempt to mediate a solution. We have now notified the court. We feel like the mediated part of the solution is done. It now goes back to another legislative process, which is through the Plan Commission. So the first step in that was determining whether or not Plan Commission wanted to hear at public hearing on two items. The first one being the quarries being a conditional use in the B1 zoning designation. The second one being what will be a conditional use permit request from Mr. Small for the quarry. Plan Commission did decide to go ahead on to public hearings, set a meeting date for both of those. The first piece of it being the text amendment that's being done.
Any questions? Communication technology.
Website was the biggest result of that last meeting. We did have some conversation about village-wide Wi-Fi, which we could talk about at finance.
SBAA.
Didn't have a quorum, so just a brainstorming type thing and some discussions earlier in the month, and just this evening had a short meeting, so some things could be taken care of. They did talk about Midwest Sunsplash and the sponsors that have been obtained, the times that it'll be running. They're still discussing a little bit about like alcohol, 3 to 9 on Friday probably. The noon, they won't run it all the way to midnight, but exactly what a cutoff time should be was being discussed. If it should be
Cutoff time needs to be the same as it is in our ordinance and as agreed to with the various alcohol license holders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were looking at either 10:30 or 11, so I think that falls within, because it's 11 o'clock in the ordinance, right, that we just did?
Well, it's not an ordinance.
No, that's,
It's a negotiated agreement.
Oh, okay. Within the agreement was 11 o'clock, so it will be by 11 o'clock.
Okay.
No?
I hate that I'm on camera. My head's telling me 10:30 was the cutoff for sales, and that 11 o'clock was the noise piece of it. Is that your recollection of it?
Well, then we'll investigate and find out.
No,
Bring it back.
everything was
I thought it
11.
Everything was
I think it was
Everything was
both
11.
was at 11.
You know, they can still sit out and,
As
And the
long as the
people,
noise didn't
As long as the
violate.
noise-
Mhm.
right,
Okay.
as long as the noise was in.
You guys have gotten the profit and loss for the SBA for the last quarter. Does someone want to make a motion to release the quarterly support?
I'll make a motion to release the quarterly support for SBA.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
They also have Copper Box playing tomorrow, and they're looking, probably have a band lined up. It looks like they'll have one lined up for the Sunday after the Marina Fest on this Sunday.
That it?
I think so. I think that was most of what was talked about.
Teen Center,
Has not been.
Tourism Zone Commission.
There was a executive board meeting rather than a full board this month, so, last month, so. Nothing new there. I know they are looking at people that want to buy bicycle repair station stands. They were placing an order, or the visitor bureau was placing an order for people that are interested.
For what?
Bicycle repair stations?
You talking about the electronic charging stations?
No.
No, this is for
Oh, I
bicycles.
know what you mean.
These
They
are about
have one at
$800,
that,
$900.
Cyclery across from you down there.
No, they do not.
Isn't that, you go to the end of the building, there's all these tools set up?
Why,
There.
that's
This-
theirs,
yeah.
but this is like a post that has
It's
cables that
cemented
have
into the
certain.
ground and it has the tools, yeah,
But
cable
they
right
let,
there.
where I'm talking, they let anybody use it?
Correct.
Right,
yeah.
right, it's for people to use,
Okay.
just promoting bicycling and stuff.
I take it Jack will be forthcoming with more information on that.
He sent out an email a few weeks ago because they were looking at ordering soon. because we got one at the lodge.
Municipality
we didn't hear about it here?
Uh-uh.
I'll have to see if I can get the information to you.
Okay.
Utility.
Met July 7th, no meeting, no quorum, second month in a row.
Third. For the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
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 And so that's comprised of representatives from the village and representatives from the town.
That is correct.
So what representatives are not showing up to make it a quorum?
The town,
Mr. Sauer was the only one from Liberty Grove.
the past meeting.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
township representatives are not showing for the
Yeah.
quorum. Okay.
Staff did contact Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs has apparently spoken to his folks, and they said they'll be there at the next meeting.
And when is the next meeting?
Next month?
Let's look at the calendar. It's at 2:00.
Yeah. But it's next month.
Let's get the water sewer collection. and
August
storm
4th.
The water sewer collection and storm sewer committee did meet, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we
Those minutes haven't
both,
been done yet.
yeah, we did meet, just went over some things, nothing earth-shaking.
We do have some urgency in getting before this board an amendment to the ordinance authorizing impact fees. The Utilities Committee has discussed this a number of times. We turned it over to Attorney Nesbitt. Attorney Nesbitt has got a backlog of work to be done. Staff's going to take a stab at the ordinance to see if we can get it to authorize what it is that we'd like for it to authorize with the water system improvements, so that our hands aren't tied a decade from now when we actually go to implement something, if it does take that long to do something.
Admin and town oversight? Has not met. Water for oversight has not met. Marketing?
Quorum failed.
Not be
Quorum
quorum.
failed, okay. It's that time of the year. Any other comments or reports about committees? Okay, our next item is to go into closed session, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll head into closed session. That's the end of the agenda.